So yeah, he was telling me, they're going to tell you that you need this, basically a fistula in your arm, and what he was trying to tell me was basically don't get that because it will mess up your hand to the point where you can't play. I'm like, how do you know this? And he's all, well, they gave me one. So I was like, okay, man, this is crazy. He's all, they're going to give you this initial thing called a chest cath or chest catheter. So it can do the same thing, and you can keep it for up to 2 years. You can actually keep it for a lot longer if you need to. I'm like, okay, cool. So there was little things that he would do to kind of guide me along and help me kind of navigate what was going on. Things that were pretty obviously money makers for the industry.
Okay, let me ask you a question. During your medical experience, were there doctors trying to coerce you to do other things where this guy had told you, look, don't do that?
Yeah.
And when you came back with the Dr. Adam, what was their reaction like? Where they were like, well, yeah, we could do that too, or
they initially were like a little like, how does this guy even know what to do?
Right, because that would
what's
be
going on.
right.
Yeah, and coming at him with medical terms, et cetera, and it was just it was the whole knowledge is power kind of thing.
Sure.
And he was a really really helpful dude. Helped me out through that whole thing every step of the way, and just through going public with that and letting people know, hey, this is
How long was that ordeal? The whole ordeal, Steve?
All in about a year and a half, and I was lucky enough. I only spent 6 months on dialysis. I found a match. Kind of through that whole process of going public, people came forward, and I was like, oh my god, okay, because it was either that or go through a waiting list, and the waiting list at the time was, I believe it was between 5 and 7 years at that time.
So you probably wouldn't.
I'm like, everything's over if that happens. There's no chance. And they said the only other thing that you could do is try and go, go find a family member that might be a match,
right?
And that or what they call altruistic donors, like friends or family that are trustable, that don't have a motive like financial or otherwise, because they don't want to be any part of that,
right? Of course,
et cetera. So it kind of came down to that, and it was one of those things where the search was on, and I had a list of 30 people. Unbelievably, I was just like, this is crazy. And it came down from 30 down to about 5, down to about 2, and then there was just 1. And
so you got a donor.
Yeah. And basically, I'll just say it's someone very close to me. He's like a brother to me. Definitely.
Now, was it somebody that you knew prior, or is he like a brother to you now because of the situation?
Someone I knew prior, and
great.
Let's say that this was a life-changing kind of
great.
thing for
both of you.
Both of us,
yeah,
definitely, absolutely,
definitely ties you together in some kind of
in a different way,
spiritualistic way, some kind of eerie spiritualistic way.
It's crazy, man. I mean, someone kind of giving that organ to you, it's a heavy deal. So,
what was the recovery like, Steve?
Heavy. It was one of those things that I went straight in from 6 months of dialysis where you got to clean out your entire system, or it's going to get cleaned out for you anyway. So all those years of kind of building up and partying and eating whatever I ate, and it's all
it
that
all
stuff.
catches up.
And it all kind of got cleansed, so to speak. And
wow.
So I went straight out of that into surgery, and we did that in December of 2006. I had to basically quarantine myself for the next 6 months. Which is a bit heavy. It was like, I couldn't go out anywhere, see anyone, that kind of thing. My now wife, basically, at the time was flying back over to see me, and we went here, we went there, that kind of thing. I was like, how much quarantine do I have to be? I'm in California,
right?
For fuck's sake, it's got to be all right.
They're just being overprotective, right?
Yeah.
They don't want you to get any germs.
Yeah,
they don't want
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Don't lift anything over 5 pounds.
Right, exactly. They don't want any stress on the new organ that's in there. I mean, obviously that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a heavy deal, man. I mean, they ended up doing like a 12-inch incision right across the gut there. So
amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy. So good reasons not to lift anything, but guitar. Come on, guitar is way over 5 pounds. I got to play guitar.
Right.
So it wasn't just going to be kumbaya playing an acoustic the whole time. So basically, I was still playing everything else like that, but just kind of getting my mind readjusted to what had happened, man, because it was a heavy deal. It was just
I would think so.
This whole thing just kind of.
So now as the horizon's starting to brighten, the clouds are. Yeah. We're thinking nevermore again.
I kind of was, and I kind of wasn't. We had some things that kind of happened along the way that I didn't necessarily agree with. They didn't necessarily agree with. So there were some disagreements. This is and that. And I just decided this wasn't for me anymore, and I had to step away.
So you're in England now. Now you're in England. You stepped away.
Yeah.
And you're recovering.
Yeah. Recovered. 6 months into that, so 6 months post transplant, and figuring out direction in life and everything like that. Got married to my now wife, and that was pretty cool. It was a bit interesting because at the time, I'm living over in England, American citizen living over there, and you got to basically kind of figure out how you're going to live. Right. You got to get a visa, all that type of stuff. And we're like, well, where could we get married? And we decided on Bahamas because actually you can go there, you can be resident for a couple days, and you're a resident there, and then that actually. Makes the whole thing okay to or a license valid anywhere in the world.
Really?
Which is kind of cool. At least at the time, they might have changed it, but at the time you could.
It's like that anymore.
Yeah, and I'm sure these days, things have kind of changed a little bit. I don't think you're
going to Bahamas, then you got a free ticket anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah. So we went there. We got married, and then did a ceremony a little bit later in the year for friends and family and stuff.
And so we're talking 2006 now.
7.
2007.
2007. Yeah, so we rolled on from there because I had the transplant in 2006 at the end, December 2006, and then 6 months of recovery, and then we went and got married. Had a few things going on. I was actually asked to back in 2005, I had done a guest spot for a band called Hatesphere.
Yeah, I remember.
In Denmark,
I read that.
And
we toured. They toured with Exodus.
Right.
Tour,
okay. Yeah. Great band. Really good band.
Yeah.
Great
Danish guys.
Yeah. And one of the guys had actually asked me if I wanted to do a couple leads, and I was like, yeah, okay. So it turned out to be I think it was one song or two songs or something, and did the solos, got on with those guys, and a couple of years later, they were asking me if I wanted to come out and do a tour with them. And so I was like, okay, yeah, just got married or was getting married. And I also had this other thing going on. I was invited to go play the Sky Academy with Willie John Roth.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah, I'd be happy to be there. Definitely. So we had that going on. I was trying to learn their songs. And then I just quickly kind of discovered that it wasn't really going to work terribly well, and I definitely I think we'd probably have words either way on that one, me and those guys, but it was just something that didn't work out, and I'm like, okay, I got to do my own thing, definitely. So I started writing songs and kind of deciding what I was going to do. Yeah, and that became One Machine. Yeah, exactly.
Which was like a total all-star Euro thing that you had going. Talk about that. That's killer. Yeah.
So basically, there was a band, I think you guys actually toured with them as well, possibly, a band called Biomechanical. I know they went out with Exodus at some
when
point.
Rob was in the band. Yeah, I don't remember them.
We also took them out with us over to Greece for a couple of dates. pre this godless endeavor, and got on with those guys really well. Nice bunch of British lads, and just really hit it off with a few of those guys. Kept in touch over the years, and the guitar player of that band, all of a sudden, the singer actually fired everybody in the band and got everybody. This is like their third record. Fired everyone in the band and picked up a new band right away, and still went on with Biomechanical. So he's like, I got no more gig. What do you got going on? I'm like, well, I'm writing songs and I want to form this band. Let's jam. Let's check it out. So perfect opportunity. I'm living over there. And I'm like, what's this guy up to? That guy, that kind of thing. So we bounced around and tried to basically put this band together. And we had a handful of people come in that we checked out, but they just weren't the right fit or this or that. Eventually got a lineup going. We found Thomas Koford from Nemec, which is a really heavy, awesome band. Bass player from hell, man. This guy just sick tone, tunes like extra low on a 5-string. It's just mind-blowingly like heavy. Everything about that dude is just a great vibe, great player, and really heavy sounding. So it was perfect. It was a perfect fit. He knew of a singer, and I had actually just read of this, and it was actually a guy that we had toured with before from a band called Mercenary, a Danish band called Mercenary. Yeah. And his name was Mikkel Sandiger, and he had just left Mercenary, and Thomas told us about it as well, and we're like, let's see if it works. So we got him on the phone and talked back and forth. We're like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's check this out. So by that point, me and Jamie had kind of collaborated on a few more songs. I had a handful of songs already, about 4 or 5, and he had a few ideas. So we kind of brought these things together, threw them on to Thomas and Mikkel, and those guys would record over there in Denmark and then send it back to us. And we're like, okay, now we got to find a drummer because this is going good, but and you're writing with a drum machine, that kind of thing, and it's like, yeah, it's just not the same as having real drums and being able to play with someone. So this one guy came about on a suggestion from a mutual friend. It was a former bandmate of his, a band called Chaos Wave, and my buddy Marco actually turned me on to his drummer. This guy named Raphael, and Raphael basically ended up joining the band with us. It was a reasonably good fit, but he got an offer to go play with Iced Earth, and he left us like right as we were about to release the record. We're like, oh my god, what's going on? So we had this killer lineup, just minus the drummer after that. And so he suggested a buddy of his who stayed on with us through the release, the tour, etc. And we ended up doing the next record with him. He basically stuck around for the album, but then decided it really wasn't his thing. He was kind of in a financial situation where he had to back out. And at that point, we actually had Mikkel had to step away as well. He had some
so the band was kind of dissolving.
It was some of the guys were kind of sticking around, and Thomas stayed on with us for a while, but there was personal things happening, relationships ending, etc. That kind of stuff. Family, they had children and things like that, and they had to decide which one was for them because me and Jamie are gung ho all the time. We're like, we want to get back on tour, we want to stay on tour, and we don't want to hear anyone that's saying no. No, we can't. And that was our mindset back then for that moment. It's just we got to get out there. We got to push.
What year are we in now, Steve?
We're in 2014,
2015 now.
2014 into 2015. So we had a couple member changes along the way. We had this wonderful singer that Jamie knew about. It turned out he had actually taught him guitar, but then this dude switched over to vocals, and he's like, I heard this guy. He's amazing. And we're like, okay, I'm a bit skeptical, but we'll definitely check it out. So I heard what he did, and I'm like, okay, cool. This dude's good. He's singing Dio like Dio. And I'm like, holy shit, and doing some Devin Townsend, a little bit of strapping and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This could definitely work. So we brought him in. He stepped in right after Mikkel left. Did the rest of touring with us. We had some European dates and especially heavy UK dates as well too. That went on through the end of 2014 and into 2015. So at the time, we brought Chris in, Chris Hawkins, and we we brought him in and just ended up working on what became the next record, The Final Call. Thomas had to step away for family reasons as well at the end of 2014. So we brought in a guy from a band called Savage Messiah on bass, Stefano Salvatico. Stefano stepped in and helped us finish writing that record. We ended up doing The Final Call over in Denmark, recording it with Tu Madsen, who's awesome. Tu's done the Haunted records, Hate Sphere records, Dark Tranquility, a lot of the Swedish death metal early stuff. He was pretty much the guy at the helm. So we got to work with him on that record and cut that one live. It was a little bit different record from the first one. The first one's the Distortion of Lies and the Overdriven Truth, and that was, I don't want to call it an email record, but it kind of was. It was like, everyone's at a distance away. Can we make this happen on like little to no budget?
So we're all doing that like that. It's so hard to do that.
It's impossible, seemingly.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
And,
it sure
and
is.
we had to move heaven and earth to really make it.
Of course,
make it happen.
you really do.
Yeah, and
everybody has to be committed totally, and that's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was a big part of that. So I was buddies with Roy Z. Got Roy Z to help kind of produce and mix it basically, and that was the first record. The second record we decided to work with Tu Madsen, friend of Thomas's, and basically. Although Thomas wasn't with us at that point, he definitely said you guys should go and work with him. He's awesome. He's amazing. I'm like, yeah, and I have like all these records, including Nemec records, I should say. And let's do this. So we went over there, we actually did the record in about 2 weeks. And we did all of it live, which was again, one of those things going back.
I've never done that before, so I always wanted to. Man, I've never done that before.
Going back to the Vicious Rumors days, to where we did Something Burning record live and just like fix this, fix that, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
you get that vibe.
Wow, I bet it is. I've never got to experience that.
We did the Cyberchrist record at Fantasy, which was
another
cool
great
as well.
studio.
Yeah. Just it was like, whoa, this is.
Boy, you hit them all, huh, Stevie? On that one, didn't you?
It was like, Jesus, legendary people were in this joint, and I'm walking in this room like, holy shit, this is gonna be cool. One of those vibes. And so we found my buddy Marco, who had referred the drummer to us. This guy Mickey. Basically, we went over to his studio. He had this old converted. It was a telephone, like switchboard room, but it was like the size of a warehouse that he converted into a full-on studio. So a huge live room. This live room was like 25 feet high and like 50 feet long.
So great for sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. So we're like, okay, let's do this shit live. Let's make it happen.
Wow.
10 days, we did track a day and pretty much did all our basics right there. Went over with Tu, finished it up over there, and had him produce the vocals. I just kind of stepped in a little here, a little there, that kind of thing, and ended up with that record and got on with touring, which opened up quite a bit more for the band at that point in time. Although we didn't have. The quote unquote all-star lineup that it actually
that it started with.
Yeah,
right.
that it started with us. We had some players who actually brought a pretty cool vibe and kind of well, I think
the all-star vibe doesn't always bring chemistry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. And could it have worked out? I don't know. Circumstances happen, things like that, but it didn't happen at that time. We had the guys that we had, and they were stepping up like anybody's business. It was just awesome. And we got tour opportunities, festivals, etc., the whole thing, and went out with Overkill. That was back in 2016. Did about a 3-week tour with them, and it was a real blast, man. Definitely good time, and hanging with Blitz.
It's fun as hell.
Yeah.
They're fun.
And
He's
Dave
a blast.
And the guys, they're just really good dudes. Mm-hmm. And I had toured with them before in Forbidden as well too, so that was a real blast to get to go out.
Yeah, because we skipped over that part a little bit.
Yeah, we got to come back to that one.
We got to because we went to 2017, but So just go ahead and tell us how you're not doing One Machine anymore, though, are you?
Oh, on the contrary, we are. Yeah.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. We've been on a bit of a hiatus.
So it's not completely dead.
No.
Oh.
We're working with a new singer. I can't really say who it is right now, but everybody who's a metalhead will know who this guy is.
Okay, we'll look out for that. But
yeah. More on that later.
We have to reverse a little bit. Rewind because 2009 you got the call, or was it actually
2008?
2008 you got the call.
2008, right at the tail end. But going back 7 years prior to that
was the
2001.
concert.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell. Yeah. Now we're into the forbidden years. Steve Smyth. We had to go a little forward and a little back, but we're gonna go.
We got there.
We're here. We're Steve Smyth in the forbidden years. So
yeah.
Talk about the inception. Talk about you going in there, the inception of you.
Yeah,
meeting
man.
with them at that Thrash of the Titans and how it all worked all the way.
Man. Yeah, definitely. That was the deal. And
I'll smoke some weed.
Awesome. Basically, I want to say it was Walter Morgan, friend of mine, dear friend of mine.
He's on
yours,
the show.
of course. Obviously, yeah.
He's on
big
this
part
show.
of the show.
Just not today.
Right.
We can have a chair for him.
Missing you, Walter. Definitely. But yeah, Walter ended up asking me if I would step in for Craig Zetro, and because Craig was busy with Man May God at that point in time, and so we got that call. I'm like, I know a few of their songs. I think I can do this, and met up with Glenn and Matt, and we got on with jamming. There was another drummer involved because Paul, I believe at the time, he was out with Slayer, so he was going to come in for I think a couple of songs, but in the interim, Glenn had a drummer that he was working with the band LD50. That was who it was. Yeah, and. Clark Brown, I think, was the singer of that band. Yeah, Geezer's.
Geezer, you did the
Geezer. Yeah, that one. And the drummer from that was Jeremy Colson.
Yeah, Jeremy.
And Jeremy ended up
great drummer.
Up. Yeah, monster. Oh my God, that guy.
Animal.
Yeah, exactly, and just a great dude. Complete monster. He's now playing with Steve Vai for the last.
Forever.
Umpteen, yeah.
Forever now. He's been with Steve Vai for forever.
I think he's found his home for sure.
Duh. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So we ended up doing that with those guys. Ended up, I think it was like 3 songs or something like that. Tim came in with Paul, and they did the other 3 songs. So we made that set happen. Got to know those guys, and we had a lot of fun jamming. They were like, "Yeah, dude, you really shredded it up, did your thing," and it was a great duo with you and Glenn. Everything else like that. So it was like, cool, yeah, awesome. Kept in touch here and there, and then all of a sudden I got a call from Matt, and Matt's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Yeah, good, man. How are you?"
So this is 7 years later.
Yeah.
Okay,
7 years later. We got late
2008.
We're talking like,
and now we're in 2008.
End of the year is like December 2008. Yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, "Yeah, you remember jamming with us?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so he's kind of getting to the point. He's like, "Well, here's the deal. Basically, things kind of aren't working with Glenn, and we'd like to have you come in and jam with us, and see if we could do these tour dates we have, because we're back on a reunion tour." And I knew that already, but they had a handful of dates that they needed to fulfill. Wanted to know if I could step in and do those, and I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." So stepped in. Beginning of 2009, it was after the holidays. So I always came back here for the holidays, spend a little time with the family, that kind of thing, and then head off back to London. And so ended up meeting up with those guys, jamming, and they had a couple of tracks that they were working on, new ones, which became Adapt or Die and Hopnosis was the other one. Yeah, and
that's one of my favorites on that record.
It's a fun one. Definitely.
I love that one.
Yeah. So they kind of showed me those. We jammed on those a little bit, and we had Sharky, Mark Hernandez,
right?
On
Mark Shark.
Yeah, and it was a real blast, man. Definitely just stepped in and started doing that, and they're like, "Okay, here's the deal. We're gonna basically look at doing a deal with Nuclear, and we'll get on and see what we can make of this. We're going to do this record. Are you in? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, they brought me in and we started working on that record.
So you have writing credit on that record as well.
Yeah, we did plenty of co-writes. It was kind of like a collaboration, more or less. I mean, Craig had riffs, obviously, some monstrous riffs, and he already had a few songs going. And then there were other ones where we just
I sang. Me and Chuck sang on that record.
That's right. Yeah, Overthrow.
That's
fucking awesome.
Overtake.
Yeah. Yes. It's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Good times, man.
See the ancestral of the Bay Area, how we all are very much connected to each other. You know what I mean? So that was my honor.
Awesome. I love that. So we ended up doing the record, and I think it was Audio Voyage Studios, in Livermore.
Yeah,
with Tim, Tim and Brad, yeah. So we spent handful of weeks out there, about 3-4 weeks, I want to say. Got the record done, and put it out. Omega Wave. There it was.
Omega Wave was great.
Yeah, thanks.
Great
man.
record.
Definitely.
What a great record to come back with. Very
it's fun to play,
record.
and I wasn't sure if I was going to be collaborating or not, but just kind of
it worked out really well.
Happened to do that, yeah. So
a lot of touring for that, Stevie.
We had quite a bit lined up, and we ended up doing quite a bit. First thing up was the release. I couldn't make the release party, which I'm sorry about, but. Right after that, straight in with Overkill for about I think 3-4 weeks, something like that, and then some headliners on the way back that we ended up doing, and kicked it off from there. Went into festivals, etc. over in Europe, and kept going, man. Definitely from there through 2011, and then actually Mark stepped away from the band, and we got a guy Sasha in on drums, who's now with Exhorder. And killing it.
Yeah, they put out a great new record too.
Yeah, shredding.
Exhorder's new album kills.
Hell yeah. Sasha came in 2011. We had some dates we couldn't do, so we had to let a European tour kind of go by, but we were going to reschedule that and get it going. Went to we went all over the place. We didn't go to Japan, but we went to Australia for a nice 6-day tour. That was awesome. Just an incredible experience. It's first time ever being over there. Also went to South America as well too for actually what turned out to be the first time because we had it in the books with every single band I was ever with. And the last minute it would get pulled for some reason or another, usually because someone on the other end didn't, kind of make good on something.
I'm
that
actually
they
there with
have.
Exodus from September 4th to September
Nice.
9th. This I don't know when we air this, but probably through that time. But
nice, man.
For sure.
Nice.
I love South America.
I love it too, man.
Their
fans are
unbelievable.
Crazy. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's
the best fans I've ever encountered.
They
man.
really appreciate it, and
they sing louder than the PA usually
it's great.
is.
For me, it's great.
It's insane.
High five. Forgot that line. Hold your mic out where you can guarantee it'll be like that'll come out. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
They sing guitar solos.
Oh,
dude.
I know.
It's insane.
And they
it's like,
chant
what?
over parts that don't have chanting parts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They create their own chanting parts
more
for them.
awesome.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
Now, that album cycle didn't really go all that long, though, did it?
No. Actually, it was about 2012. We went back to Chile, played Metal Fest 2012, and it was right after that things kind of went quiet. I'm like, okay, what happened? And turned out Russ kind of decided he wanted to step off.
Yeah.
And
which
Matt,
I completely understand, and I totally know.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do this and you cannot do this, don't
if
do
you're
it
not
for
feeling
the other.
it, then
don't do it for everybody else because you will be fucking miserable, literally miserable.
That's it.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. Now you were still doing One Machine though, right?
Yeah, we were finding the members, getting everything going, writing and recording at that point. Like I said, it was an email record, so I did have that going on from about 2009 onwards. We finally got everyone kind of in and collectively together and ended up finally finishing tracking that record about 2013 and shopped it and got the deal, all that.
Now, we've talked about this through this interview. You lived in England for so many years.
Yeah.
So now it's 2017 and
right.
It's time to come back home, right?
Well, yeah, and in between all that, we obviously had a member, what we all felt was an integral member of our band step out of the band. That was Chris Hawkins, our singer. So Chris decided he wanted to do more proggy stuff, that kind of thing, which is a little bit more his thing. So he went off with his band.
And what year was that, Steve?
That was 2016.
So you're still in England.
Yeah, and we're still touring.
You're still touring.
He's agreed to fulfill all the commitments.
To finish.
Yeah, to let us kind of find a replacement, et cetera, that kind of thing. So we basically we had dates lined up through 2018, just even last year, and he couldn't do all of them, and that was it was kind of understood. It was like, all right, yeah, again, if you're not feeling it, why do it?
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be happy. You're going to be miserable being away from the people that you love if you're not having a good time doing this.
Exactly.
That's just the fucking way.
Not going to get any better.
People think it's the greatest. It's if your head's not into it, you're in prison. You're basically in prison if your head's not into it.
Exactly. So we got it, and bittersweet as that was, it was one of those that came to be. We got a couple of great singers in the interim who helped fulfill those dates. We started working with one on an EP, but he had another band. He had his own band with his name. As well too, I think. Or no, sorry, that was a different guy. This was a guy that had his own band that was kind of doing a bit more busy things over in Denmark. So that kind of went by the wayside. But we've got basically this new EP will be coming out soon. Stay tuned on that one. And yeah, 2017, basically 2016, there was a lot of things happening over in England and the UK on the whole. They went through this thing. They still are going through this thing.
Yeah, they're still going through it.
Maybe by the time this airs, it's over. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think that's going to ever end.
Yeah, you never know, man. But
the money we used to make over there, Steve, is just ruined now. You know what I mean?
It's going to change, man. It's going to change.
God, I mean...
Yeah, so there was basically this whole thing called Brexit for those that might not know what that is, and it's basically where the whole of the UK is going to withdraw from the European Union and not be a part of Europe anymore. So it made a whole set of circumstances looking forward a lot more difficult to get into as far as touring for any band, let alone our band, where we've kind of built the house so far, and are still trying to get bits of the roof on and things like that and get it sealed so we can become that solid thing, that solid machine, if you will. It was just like the vibe on the streets, even in the neighborhood I was living in. Little thing about England and about London in general, especially Greater London. It's a lot of what you call gentrification, and there's a lot of bitterness towards that as well too. When you move into a neighborhood as a foreigner, and you're living over there, it's a bit like, whoa, okay, and you meet some people in your neighborhood that don't necessarily like you, for that reason. And it was just like, wow, this is turning into a nasty vibe, and that vote kind of gave rise to these people as well too, and it just kind of felt like we weren't welcome there. So it was time to move, time to head out. And, in truth, I mean, we could have gone probably elsewhere, but me and my wife, we were thinking, well, we're looking ahead. We're thinking California. I love it. I'm from here and I want to be back in the Bay. So,
well, we're glad to have you back. I'm glad you're back.
Glad to be back. And by no means was that the end of one machine, or was it meant to be? And it's certainly not. It's just in a different place at the moment while we kind of rebuild, so to speak.
Now, you and I did something a couple of months ago. You do Union Jacks and I do AC/DC.
Yeah,
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So since I've been back, had a great bunch of fellas in a band. It's a new wave of British heavy metal tribute
band. It's
called
great.
Union Jack and the Rippers.
Jack and the Rippers.
Yeah, Dylan got a hold of me. Dylan Waltz, and Dylan's basically vocalist of that band. Shotgun Messiah, I think, was the band.
Was he in Shotgun Messiah?
No. Shotgun
Hayes.
Harlot.
Shotgun Harlot. Don't remember them.
I might be getting this wrong. Sorry, Dylan. I think it was Shotgun Harlot though. So basically, Dylan gave me a call, got a hold of me, said, "Hey man, our guitar player is exiting the band. Do you want to come in and check this out? I'm sure you know some of these songs." And he gives me the list, sends it over to me. I'm like, I know every one of these songs.
How fun is that?
Yeah, another one of these 20 song things. But this time, they're their favorite stuff that we grew up on.
20.
Yeah. And basically stepped into that. We've been doing that as for fun thing. Should say as a side note since 1995. Not really a side note, but lately we're not as busy. With my buddy Lance from Schizo, we've been doing a band called Sweetleaf, which is a Black Sabbath Ozzy tribute.
Nice.
We've been doing that for we're in our actually 25th year together, me and him, since 1994.
Okay,
So
well, while we're on this subject, tell everybody where they can get a hold of these bands if they can do that. Do you have Facebooks or whatever?
Yeah. There's Facebook for Sweetleaf is Sweetleaf SF Bay Area, and for Union Jack, I want to say it's just Union Jack and the Rippers. I'm pretty sure
on Facebook.
Yeah. So if you type those in, you'll be able to find both those. Give us a like.
Book them for a damn gig.
Yeah. You can find videos on YouTube over the years
good
too.
Stuff, both of them.
About stuff. Yeah. And we had fun. We
played with both of you.
Yeah.
Both of your bands.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's been a blast,
AC/DC's my funnest band. Sorry, it is. It's just because I get to be Bon Scott for an hour or whatever, and that's
fun,
my funnest thing
killer.
ever.
They do killer on that. It's
some
great.
people we
it's
haven't really brought it out of the Bay Area, but we will someday.
Yeah,
we will someday.
That's for fun, man.
So what do you got going now?
Basically working on that, or just gigging with those bands. And I've been since I've been back, been kind of just working on a little bit of solo material, things like that.
But we are still keeping One Machine in mind, so that's coming up.
Yeah, we've got things in the pipeline for that. So we've got an EP that's it's going to come out a little bit later on this year.
And we'll know the vocalist when we see it. When we hear
yes, you will. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah,
I love surprises like that.
Cool. Yeah, we are definitely stoked about this for sure. We're going to work on another record in the interim with that as well too. So we've got I've got riffs I've been kicking around and kind of shaping up a little bit that I can pass on to him and we'll see where it goes, man. Definitely.
And you're a guitar teacher.
Yes.
So let's tell everybody in the world, if you want to learn, I mean, you can do it online, right?
Yeah.
Any of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or if you're in the Bay Area, this is one of the legends. When I was growing up, I did not, because I started as a guitar player. I just have too many fat sausage Portuguese fingers that you can't fucking play. I can't.
You can play, I'm sure.
I can a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I never had this kind of outlet where I could have gone, no way. He played in Testament and Forbidden and Vicious Rumors and Nevermore, and he gives lessons. Where do I sign up? So
right.
Let everybody know, Stevie, where you're at.
Sure, man. Yeah, I've got a couple of Bay Area locations that I teach at. One is it's called Jams Music. That's in Dublin. You can get a hold of me through there. They have a Facebook. I think it's Jams Music.
JAMS?
Yeah, JAMS.
Jams Music?
All capitals, and then music from there.
Our producer will throw some graphics up there. We'll give it to him.
Yeah.
He'll throw some. Tell us where else.
There's that place, and then I'm also at a place up in Santa Rosa. I'll give a little plug for it. It's called Stanroy Music Center, which is a place where actually, when I took over for my guitar teacher way back when, that was where I started.
This is history.
I did about nearly 20 years there.
Wow.
And then moved and came back. I would always teach there in the interim. In between that, they kind of went through some changes over the years, moved locations, etc. And then they finally found a good home and some good owners there as well too. So they're pretty well settled again, and I've stepped in there for a few days. I also teach online. If you get a hold of me, my email is stevesmythguitarlessons@gmail.com. There you go.
I'll run the graphic on that as well.
Yeah, and you can get a hold of me for Skype, FaceTime, any of that stuff, or in person. Just write me and we'll hook it up. Definitely.
That's awesome. Stevie, what an amazing story you told us.
Thank you, man.
We love this. Thank you for coming in.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me, man.
You guys obviously leave me comments because this will be definitely a couple of parters here. And let me know what you guys think. We can have you back again. We can talk about other things and stuff. Is that cool?
Love to be back, man. Yeah, absolutely.
No, this is what we're trying to do is tell it like it was here and tell it's like it's been. Good having you in, man. This has been absolutely awesome. I think you can remember, you guys, share my channel and definitely subscribe to this stuff, and I'll keep doing this kind of shit as we keep the Bay Area metal
fucking awesome.
legends revolving, brother.
It's awesome, man.
Telling the stories
you have
like
to keep,
they were.
He has to keep doing this. So give him.
I'm doing it. So
Yeah,
I've been
subscribe.
talked
Get on
into
there,
it.
man.
Definitely.
Zetro's Toxic
Right
Vault.
on.
Do it.
We'll see you guys soon.